In this world of so much negative news, we need inspiration. Be Inspired is created for appreciative audiences just like you. So please be sure to hit the like button and subscribe to our podcast so you don't miss any of our upcoming inspiring stories.
The first time when he was evaluated for the transplant list, I met the surgeon, and he said, now it's time to find a kidney. How do you do that? I said, what do you do?
Be Inspired podcast. Real stories from real people. Sharing stories of love and loss, struggles and perseverance, laughter and tears, and overcoming adversity.
Young people are often the most inspirational people that we'll meet in our lifetimes. And our special guest who's with us here today on Be Inspired is one of the most inspirational young people you will ever meet. Hi, I'm Bert Baron.
And I'm Lisa Anderson.
And we welcome you to Be Inspired. And this season of Be Inspired is made possible by IgA Nephropathy Foundation. Lisa, I find tremendous inspiration from young people. I just find it to be something wrong that a young person who has gone through so much in such a short period of time, when we meet our guest here today and what this young man continues to go through, you can't help but be inspired to help out any way you possibly can.
They amaze us with their strength and resiliency, and we could all learn lessons from someone like Jason.
We are so happy to have Jason Michael Anderson with us here on Be Inspired today, and also Mom Gwen Anderson is with us here. Welcome. Great to both have you here. Jason, you've been through a lot, my friend. Yeah. Hasn't been easy for you.
No.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah. Where are you now? Tell your story, my friend. Where are you right now?
Right now, I think we're pretty good with everything, right?
Well, right now you're currently awaiting a kidney transplant.
Yeah.
You've been on the transplant list for 2 years. Your kidney function continues to decline. Mm-hmm. You're currently, 12% functioning at the moment.
He's just taking it all in. Like,
I know.
Yeah,
it's unfortunate, but it's his normal.
He's taking it in stride, but I guess you have to.
He's amazing. He takes, unfortunately, every year he gets a new diagnosis of something. Yeah. And, it's waiting for that other shoe to drop. But he just takes it with, okay, this is my next hurdle I have to get through.
Bump in the road.
Exactly.
Jason, where do you find that your inner strength, that attitude of, okay, we've got this? Where does that come from?
Well, when my kidney problem and when the first problem started, I'm like, oh, I hate this. Mm-hmm. But then when I got into it, I'm like, well, I have to live for this, and I just got used to it.
That's something. You've known that for a long time, 18 months, Gwen noticed something wasn't right with Jason. So I see that with a lot of young adults. But that really, you have a circle of friends. And I don't know if you know this, but Jason said he was put here on earth to make people laugh and to make people smile. So tell us about that.
Well, I noticed that I pretty much could see the good in people, even if they're bad or anything. I can see the good in people and make them happy very much.
Boy, what we can learn.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. This is a journey for you, Gwen. This whole process of looking for a match.
Yes.
For a kidney donor. It sounds to me like it's incredibly frustrating.
It's frustrating. It's an emotional roller coaster. It's, things are going to decline as time as time goes on. But when it does decline, it's like a punch in the gut. Even though you knew it was coming, the fact that it's actually there, it's very emotional. Jason has a gene mutation that caused this kidney failure that we found out. That gene mutation is just not only causes multiple cysts in both kidneys, It causes a rare form of diabetes. Less than half of 1% of the population has the type of diabetes he has, which means he has to take insulin. They're going to be starting another medication, which is an injectable in another. It's actually, we're fighting with insurance right now. So whenever insurance approves it, and every medication has a side effect. So 3 weeks ago, we were at Children's Hospital of Philadelphia in endocrinology, and they're saying he's insulin resistant, even though he's taking this insulin, that we need to add this additional injectable. And Jason's immediate comment was, what are the side effects? Because he generally gets the worst side effect for every medication. And the side effect for this particular medication is that he will be nauseous and vomiting for the first 2 weeks before his body gets used to it.
I was like, I can handle that.
And that's exactly what he said. I can handle it.
That's what I mean. Jason, you don't realize how much of an inspiration you are already, just by living the way you do and just by handling what you do. It's unfair, yes. There are a lot of children who just sail through life fine. There's some with, real problems. Aside from that, when you separate yourself from Jason and the Super Kidney Adventure, and I kept calling it Amazing Adventure, but you're the one who's amazing. You kind of have to think about, well, I need to live my life as a teenager. Aside from all that, tell us about yourself. I know you love sports, video games. How's your circle of friends?
Getting more.
Good. That's a good thing. Tell us about the sports. Which one's your favorite?
I don't really have favorites.
No? What do you like to play?
Maybe just like kick a ball or something.
Kick a ball? That's cool.
He used to
I could
play,
do that.
He used to play baseball and basketball and did gymnastics and trampoline and
It's active.
He was very, very active, and he was hospitalized a couple of times, and fatigue has set in with his kidney failure. So a lot of times he goes to school and comes home and goes to bed for the rest of the night. So it's
Tough times.
It's really
waiting for that kidney.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, 15-year-olds are supposed to be asking questions like, what time is the movie starting tonight that we're going to? Or what time is the baseball game start? Not what side effects will this medication have? And there's something incredibly frustrating about that. Yeah. But I admire Jason for his courage and for his strength and what's a very difficult time for so many people.
Yeah.
You know what I noticed too, as I got further and further into the transplant world, okay, there are so many people waiting, not only in New Jersey, but worldwide for a transplant. You can be a living donor for a kidney transplant, which helps, in Jason's case, that anyone could live very well with one kidney. But when I saw the amount of children and adults waiting for transplants, liver, heart, or kidney in your case, it's so important that people know about becoming a donor. For years, I didn't even think of that, checking it off on my license. It was just something that slipped my mind. How important is that, Gwen and Jason?
It's extremely important, especially with the kidney, because everybody does have not everybody, but most people have two kidneys.
Right.
And you can survive, actually most times longer with one if you're a donor, because you have to be put through such a strict regimen in order to be a donor. You have to be the healthiest person around to be a donor. And, hopefully that person keeps that lifestyle. And the kidney is the one organ that has the most need for donors, and then also has the most ability to receive donors. A heart transplant, unfortunately, someone has to pass along.
Yeah.
A lung transplant, similarly.
Right.
Liver, you can kind of do some eyes, but kidneys, when I met the first time when he was evaluated for the transplant list, I met the surgeon, and he said, now it's time to find a kidney. How do you do that? I said, what do you do?
Yeah.
And he said, everybody has a spare. And I said, well, what do? You just can't walk up and say, hey, do you have an extra kidney?
Yeah.
Like,
Knock on
hey,
the
do you have an
door.
extra dollar?
Hi there.
You know? And he said, but everybody does. And I said, but there's so much unknown for people. And
There's a lot of steps too when you become a donor. You were telling me they have to check, A, B, C, D, Z, and it is quite tough.
I guess you start, Gwen, you look inside. You look in your close circle of family and friends, and that's where you start to look for the first potential match, and then you just build out from there. Is that how the process goes?
most people, yes. Actually, with pediatrics, most times the parents are the donors. Jason was adopted, so neither my husband nor I are the right blood type, or if you are the right blood type, then it would be a tissue match, and there's different stages. My husband his father had kidney cancer, so he has that in his background, so he couldn't do a paired donation. I have a medical condition that I couldn't be a donor, so I couldn't do a paired donation.
So frustrating.
Even though it's not biological, my sister happened to have a reflux kidney when she was born, and that's the extent of our family. So it's been very hard to go beyond that.
Jason, what would you say to the folks watching out there about, your situation, about considering donating a kidney? What would you want to say to folks? Like, you thought of Jason and the super kidney adventure, which, by the way, I love that. What would you say to them?
Well, we'll talk to your family, see if they're into it, and then check if you're the right type. And if you want to do it, then do it.
That's good. Talk to your family. Very important. Because it does, affect the family a little
Absolutely.
bit as well. Yeah. How did you think of Jason and the super kidney adventure?
The part of it was like, because I can make people happy, I'm super about that.
Yeah,
Make
it
people
is
happy.
super.
And I have a kidney problem, so it kind of just went together.
Yeah, absolutely. See, I love that, Bert. It's a
Yeah.
very catchy thing.
There's something powerful and inspirational about knowing that you could help someone's life.
Absolutely.
Whether it's something as simple as donating a pint of blood on a regular basis, or in the case that we have here with Jason, you are your own superhero. This is a chance to where you could be that hero. You could step up and literally save someone.
Even if it's not for Jason, get yourself tested if you're interested. There's so many tens of thousands of people that need a kidney. And, one thing I mentioned to Lisa previously is, if you were a donor, and God forbid in the future you needed a kidney transplant, those people that had what we call heroes had donated, they come on top of the list. So right now it's pediatrics and then adults, but the heroes are above pediatrics. So, there's a concern with that, and hopefully they can find some solace in knowing, God forbid, if something happened to them or their loved one,
Yeah.
that they would be taken care of.
Give the gift of life.
Right.
Absolutely. Yeah. I'm happy. It sounds like the community really rallies around Jason. And we can ask, blood type. What is Jason now? He is A?
He's A positive, but
positive.
for a donor, they can take, the donor has to be either A positive or A negative.
Okay.
Or O positive or O negative.
That's a universal,
Yes.
right? They can do that. And then after that, you find out about that. Then they go through a screening process for...
Right, so there's an application, and the donor would be going through Penn University.
Okay.
Or University of Penn. The application would be filled out. University of Penn doctors would look at it to see if, everything looks okay, or if there's something that they're concerned about that may not be a viable donor. If everything looks okay, they would do additional blood work to identify if there's a tissue match. Even if they don't match Jason, there's the option, potentially, if they're a viable donor, that they could do something called a paired donation. And that's a national list where, for instance, Lisa, if you didn't match your son, but you matched Jason, you could donate to Jason. And if I matched your son, I can donate to your son.
Wow.
So that's another option that if he didn't match Jason directly, that they could do a paired donation.
Yeah, I'll tell you, you don't realize how much goes into this and how important it is for everyone, because
Yeah.
that is our mission, Jason. We got to get Jason a kidney, and boy, we will celebrate when you get the kidney, for sure.
I mean, it sounds very complex, and it sounds like a lot of steps to get to that point, but just think about how many people are living proof that it's possible.
Oh, yes.
And it has been done, and has been done successfully. It
does.
just starts with someone who's willing to step up and be that hero. Who wants it? Who wants to do it?
Yes, and actually the at the point of a living donor is that the kidneys actually wake up a lot faster and start functioning, sometimes instantaneously.
Wow.
And the kidney functions a lot longer on the recipient than a deceased donor. But again, I don't want to put any shame on that, because, you know, a deceased donor is so important as well.
Of course, yeah. This kid's got a lot of wisdom.
He's got a great team and a great support system.
You sure do, and Mom,
Certainly
yeah,
led by
you and
by
your
Mom,
husband.
sure.
That's not easy, being the mother, you know, and trying so hard and knowing that time is of the essence.
Yeah.
For
so,
sure.
So we got to get moving on getting somebody out here. Gwen, how does someone begin this process of being that superhero?
Well, there's a Facebook page called Jason and the Super Kidney Adventure. You can reach out on that. I also have an email address that if someone would like to email me directly, it's gabalut1019@gmail.com. Or my phone number is 732-787-9552. And I'd be more than happy to provide any more information that I know. Again, I'm hearing it from the surgeons, but I will give you the information for the Children's Hospital of Philadelphia transplant team, and they can walk the person through any questions that they may have.
You know what I want, Bert? I want to have Jason back on after he receives a kidney, and I want you to tell us all about the Super Kidney Adventure and the Super Kidney Transplant. We got to do part 2. Jason and the Super Kidney Transplant. How's that sound?
All right.
All right? Deal? You come back on, because that's what we're going to try really, really hard to do. And you got a lot of people rooting for you, and you deserve every bit of it.
Can I also make a note for the donor? My understanding, speaking to at least half a dozen people who have donated, if you're not doing a physical construction type job, I've been told that most people are back to work within 2 weeks after donating a kidney. They're generally out of the hospital within 3 to 5 days. It's a lot easier than it was in the past. And, you know, financially, our insurance covers for everything. And in the future, for that donor, if they have a problem with their kidneys, our insurance covers it. They do not cover for work lost, but the hospital has many programs that can help with that as well.
Yeah, that's the least of the issues, though, right now,
Right.
the work loss.
Right, but
most important. No,
something
that's
the
very
donor needs to
important.
think about.
It absolutely
And their
is.
family.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Bert, that's our mission.
Yeah.
Find
Jason,
the-
Michael Anderson, Gwen Anderson, stay strong, keep fighting, stay positive, never give up, all right?
Yeah, thank you.
Thank
It's
you.
great to have you
Thank
both
for
with us
having
here today.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you, Jason. Thank you, Gwen.
Thank you. I'm Bert Baron,
And I'm Lisa Anderson.
and thank you for joining us on Be Inspired.
Hi, I'm Gwen Anderson.
I'm Jason Anderson.
And Jason is my son. He needs a kidney transplant. He's been on the transplant list for over 2 years now. We came on to Be Inspired because this is such a wonderful podcast that inspires people in many different areas. And we're hoping to inspire people to consider organ donation. They're heroes. It is something that can be checked off on your driver's license, and we would greatly appreciate if anybody considered donating, not just for Jason, but for all those hundreds of thousands of people that are out there that need one.
Next on Be Inspired.
Only in the business 11 years, I reached the American dream. I was 39, worth millions of dollars, but God had other plans. And that's when the the first of two major battles of depression and lost will to live. And Wall Street, knowingly or unknowingly, conspires with Madison Avenue to create this false facade that more money equals more happiness. But in real life, real happiness is usually found with people with less than more.
Be Inspired with your hosts Bert Baron and Lisa Anderson Puleo. Directed by Rod Weber. Created and produced by Michael R. Doyle. Co-producers Bert Baron, Lisa Anderson Puleo, Rebecca Gruber, and Erwin Sternberg. Executive producers Rod Weber and Sean M. Sternberg. Editor Rebecca Gruber. Filmed at New Beginnings Foundation, Wall Township, New Jersey. The IgA Nephropathy Foundation was established in 2004 to find better treatments and ultimately a cure for this chronic kidney disease, which can end in dialysis and needing a kidney transplant. For more information, please visit IGAN.org. In this world of so much negative news, we need inspiration. Be Inspired is created for appreciative audiences just like you. So please be sure to hit the like button and subscribe to our podcast so you don't miss any of our upcoming inspiring stories. Be Inspired is filmed in front of a live audience. If you would like to attend a filming of Be Inspired, or if you know someone who has an inspirational story that should be shared with the world, please contact us at info@mrdproductionsllc.com. That's info@mrdproductionsllc.com.